This clip is sponsored by Wash and Go, and that can only mean one thing. That's right, I'm surrounded by a sea of green. By now you should know that Wash and Go is the best way to look after your luscious locks. I mean, look at what it's done for mine. Fantastic. But you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at some of the 600 plus unreal reviews on their Amazon page. Linda from the United Kingdom says, well, it smells lush and leaves hair smelling fresh. Fantastic, Linda. Kindle customer JSB says, product arrived as advertised. Always very important. Always important to know that, Kindle customer JSB. And finally, my personal favourite, it's shampoo and it works for me. Absolutely fantastic there from Casey. It is indeed shampoo and also a conditioner. If you want to get your Wash and Go today, then hit the link in the description and get your bottle sent to you today. And remember, it's a shampoo and it works for me. Enjoyed in the sand for the last 2 months. Like, I know journalists make stuff up, but Gary Neville in his podcast last week was like, the funny thing is these players talking to journalists don't realise these journalists are talking to us. Now, he's not going to call out who it is, but there's definitely issues in that dressing room, and whoever's involved, there's definitely an issue. And I don't know what your thoughts are about it before we get into the depth of it, but I just think it reflects badly on the club again that, you know, ultimately who wins anyway when you've got players arguing with each other. There has to be somebody somewhere. It reflects badly on any leader that they've not been able to get hold of it.
Listen, for me, listen, it's always tough. You know, unless you know who the source is, unless you know who the players are, and we know, and I know from my time, you know, where players were speaking to journalists, the journalists will never reveal their source.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like a manager can go into the change room and say, right, lads, from this moment on, I don't want no one on social media. I don't want no one talking to the press. I don't want nothing coming out the press. That's what you probably want to do as Ralph Rangnick at this important stage of the season. But it's just hard to know. Unless you know the sources, you can't stop people from picking up the phone or texting their journalist mate going, hey, this is going on, put that in. You know, and it might not be.
Also, he's got no, sorry to interrupt, Paul, but he's also got no authority, has he? I mean, the club wouldn't let him let Lingard go. They wouldn't let him get a midfielder. He's only here as an interim.
But at the same token, he's still in charge. He's still the one who picks the team. You know, he's still the one who sets the team out, and he's still the one who barks the orders to the players. And, you know, it's just not impossible to stop people talking to the press. It happened in my time. Don't know what went on. You know, it was like the Paul Gascoigne situation before the World Cup in '98.
Yeah.
You know, when Glenn Hoddle told him that he wasn't in the squad, and, you know, he smashed Glenn Hoddle's room up and, you know, went back into his room for, you know, and it got out. Someone there got out because the stories just go round, and before you know it, someone speaks to their mate in the press, go, listen, but this is what happened with Gaza. Next minute, it's banging the papers. So you're never going to get away from it unless the players know who these players are and put them to the sword. That's the issue. But you're right. It's like every week now, you know, and I said last week on the show, you know, can we just have a period of time where we can just focus on Manchester United? We've got a Champions League game next week. You know, we're in fourth spot.
Yeah.
You know, just for, you know, the sake of the fans and the sake of the club, just focus on United. Not have this stuff every week about he said this to the press, this is coming out again, and it's the same old crap every week. It's not anything different. It's just players moaning to the press, and the press obviously putting it in the papers, which can't be beneficial to anybody, especially the manager who's trying to, well, I wouldn't say trying to get a position in the post next year, long term, but he's trying to get a job done. And for Ralph Rangnick, he would probably want to walk away at the end of the season thinking, well, yeah, I've achieved fourth place. You know, we've done what we've got as far as we could get in the Champions League. Who knows where that can be? You know, who knows where that could be? And he can hand it over to someone else. You know, this is what we should be talking about, you know, but we're not. We're talking about, again, player power, players sneaking off to the press, you know, revealing what's going on. And as I said, it might not be someone who's playing week in and week out, but then again, you don't know, because one of those players who wasn't playing 3 or 4 months ago, who was talking to the press, might be playing in the side now, but now got this relationship with the press person. You know, but in my day, we all had relationships with the press. We had every player, England player, everything, we had relationships with the press. But things that were important to the team and the players were kept. Nothing was said to the press. I never said anything to my journalists, ever. You know what I mean? Ever. So I think it's the time we need to knock it on the head in this important stage of the season. I really, really do.
Well, I was told last night at about 7 o'clock that there'd been a big meeting at United, a sort of clear the air meeting, and a lot of the players that have issues have sort of agreed to put it aside until the summer, which is very big of them because they should be bloody doing that anyway. But then a couple of, literally 20 minutes later, this was obviously briefed by quite a few people because we had the story, I think it was from David McDonald, saying that there's been meetings this week between Maguire and Ronaldo and Ranić about the captaincy. And basically there's a deeper issue there, which I think, maybe on a footballing sense, we can have the discussion about Maguire, but look, he put a picture out last night, whether it was PR or not, he's going to see a sick lad and then he's getting loads of stick under it. I mean, that's nothing to do with football. That's, I think people shouldn't be doing that. But I do think that, I personally, we'll talk about the Harry Maguire versus Ronaldo issue and whether you should be changing that mid-season. I personally think the club handled that badly because it's very clear that, if you were playing for Manchester United and you've got, Mike Phelan as your captain, when you've got people like Cantona and you in the team, I just don't think Maguire's a good captain. But he's come out this morning and he said, I've seen a lot of reports about this club that aren't true. This is Harry Maguire, by the way. And this is another story. I'm not going to start posting about everything that is written, but I needed to make this one clear. We're united and focused on Sunday. Enjoy your day, everyone. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? A United captain coming out and reacting to a story that effectively is in the Daily Mirror. It's in the Mirror. A lot of people can make their own mind up whether they want to make it true or not. But a Man United captain coming out and saying that this isn't true. And it's another story that there's problems in the dressing room, because we all know better journalists than that over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Plus, you've probably heard stuff. I've heard stuff, whether people want to agree with that. But it's well known there's problems in the dressing room. What's the Man United captain doing coming out and, denying a story about the Mirror? Do you agree with that? Because ultimately, I don't care about a tweet. Sort the bloody dressing room out. That's your job as a captain, surely.
Do is to react to a story, because I think it kind of then looks like there is a problem. Sometimes silence is the key. Say nothing. Get on with the game, as you said. Get on with sorting the dressing room out. Because obviously these stories have been wrangling for the last 4 or 5 months. They're not something that's just come out of thin air where some journalist just plucked it out and said there's issues in the changing room. Obviously there's issues in the training room because we've seen that in the way the team's performed over the last two months. So obviously there's something not quite right. Obviously you've seen the body language of some of the players. Fernandes, Ronaldo, Luke Shaw coming out and doing the weirdest interview I've ever seen.
Well, that's it, isn't it? You've hit the nail on the head there. Even a player after a game has come out and said there's issues in the team, and then you got Maguire 3 or 4 weeks later saying there's no issues. They're so wrapped, they're so spun around by their own bullshit. They don't realise that their own players have come out and said there's been problems.
Yeah, I know, and we're not that stupid, and that's why sometimes you're best just to keep your mouth shut and get on with the game. Maguire, listen, I understand that he feels as a captain that's his responsibility, but why is he reacting to one thing in the paper? If I was on social media in my time and I reacted to everything that was said about me, I'd be on there 24/7. Come on, it's not rocket science. Just don't say a word. Concentrate on your performances. Your performances haven't been that great. Then the last thing you want to do is put yourself in the picture, going toe to toe with a journalist saying, "Oh, trying to convince everybody that things ain't quite right." By you coming out and saying things are great, things are fantastic. It's just like someone. It's just not me being married. You know what I mean? And I'm having a good relationship with my wife, and you say, "Paul, you're okay with the missus?" "Yeah, things are great, Mark. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, we're great." But deep down, we're having problems. But I'm not going to tell you and put it out in public. I'm just trying to deal with it with myself. So that's what Harry Maguire should be doing. Him and his leaders or characters, whoever he's got, they don't need to go and come back at the press. They need to go and say, "Listen, don't say a word. We'll deal with it inside, and we'll show them that there's no fragmentation. We'll show them that we're all together. We'll show them that we're united, and we'll show them that by the performance we put on the pitch in front of the fans." And that answers the question. Not coming out and trying to defend the fact that there is no fragmentation, because as soon as you try to defend it, it makes it even worse. Keep your mouth shut, concentrate on the game, concentrate on getting these teams to fall from the table, and let your football do your talking, as you rightly said, Marky. And it's another thing where especially Harry Maguire, because I don't think he needs to say it. You know, I don't think anybody needs to say it. And I said to you before he's coming now, how would we react in our time having social media?
We're talking here, you, Giggsy, Keno, Cantona, Hughes, Bruce, you know, proper legends and leaders of the club. That team was full of leaders about it. And actually, it was harder to clear your name because there was no social media or internet. So it was written on the back of a paper and you were screwed, weren't you? Everyone was reading it.
Yeah, you were. And also, you got to remember in our time, you know, there was none of these football radio shows or stuff like that. So fans, you know, they go to the game, they go to the pub after, they'll have a few drinks, they'll have their little moan about me or Keane, whoever it may be, and then they come back and support us again. You know what I mean? But I don't think, looking at the characters that we had in our team, you know, we would be responding to fans, the criticism of fans. I don't think, you know, when you see the platform these fans have nowadays and the criticisms they can throw at you, I don't think I'll be one of those people. That's me saying that now, but obviously hindsight's a wonderful thing. That would be going on there and going to war with people, you know, coming tit for tat.
You can't win, can you? You can't win in an argument on social media anyway.
No, you can't. You know, and I think to be fair, if Sir Alex was in charge, he would probably say to us, no social media. If you get off your phones, no social media, that's it. You know, if I see anybody on social media, you're getting fined. You know.
And whereas, Paul, now the club buys people because they've got a social media following, because last week when they've got their £25 million training top, it's not just Man United tweeting it out, it's Ronaldo putting a picture out, it's Rashford, 5 million. You know, they embrace the social media, which is completely opposite to what you've just said there, because, you know, I imagine Sir Alex would be, that social media is not for us, we're a football team, it's what we do on a Saturday, not what we're doing on the week. Whereas United have completely gone, we're not a football team, we're Branchester United. Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video, because we all know only legends like videos and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching as always.